flipping through the newspapers, switching through multiple news channels, exploring different websites and online mediums for relevant news? Keeping up to date with important news is not only time-consuming but also requires meticulous upkeep of notes for thorough revision. With a limited period in hand and abundant resources to study from, do not let current affairs come in the way of your prelims success. Join the PT 365 program by Vision IAS and advance in your preparation for current affairs. Starting on 9th January at 5 p.m., this 20-day course offers comprehensive coverage of 1 year of current affairs in 60 hours. Join for improved knowledge with complete coverage of The Hindu, Indian Express, PIB, Economic Times, Yojana, Economic Survey, etc. Doubt-clearing sessions and mentoring for thorough knowledge. Access to Sandhan personalized test with 25,000 plus questions. Access to live and online classes for flexibility in timing. It's time to devote your energy to smart learning and not running. Enroll today and excel in UPSC prelims with a strong command of current affairs.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. YouTube influencer under police investigation for alleged obscene remarks on show. The Supreme Court slams pre-election freebies. Supreme Court seeks Centre and ECI response on lifetime bar for convicted MPs, MLAs. India's Prime Minister made his 6th official visit to France. The International Energy Agency released India Gas Market Report Outlook to 2030. India's palm oil imports dropped to 14-year low. A popular YouTube influencer has come under police investigation for allegedly making obscene remarks during a show. The case has reignited debates surrounding the fine balance between freedom of expression and obscenity laws in India. In legal terms, obscenity is defined as an indecent expression that can be conveyed through words, actions, or gestures. Let's take a closer look at the ethical issues surrounding obscenity. While freedom of speech is a fundamental right under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A of the Constitution, it is subject to restrictions under laws such as the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita or BNS 2023, including Section 294 and Section 296, which regulate obscene acts in public. One of the key concerns is the subjectivity in defining obscenity, as lack of an objective definition of obscenity leads to subjective interpretations. For example, in the Avik Sarkar versus State of West Bengal case, Supreme Court acknowledged that what is considered obscene in one community may not be in another. Another major debate is the tension between censorship and artistic freedom. The Supreme Court in Maqbool Fida Hussain versus Rajkumar Pandey ruled that nudity alone does not constitute obscenity, reinforcing the ethical dilemma between creative expression and societal norms. Moving on to the key recommendations for obscenity regulations. Experts suggest that obscenity laws should be clearly defined while being contextually sensitive to avoid subjective interpretations. Additionally, the harm principle should be applied, meaning restrictions should prevent harm rather than merely offend public sensibilities. Moreover, adopting community standard principle by implementing a contemporary community standard test reflecting societal morals evolving with time and community values has been proposed. But which are the existing legal provisions on obscenity? The Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986 outlaws the indecent, improper and scandalous depiction of women. The Young Persons Harmful Publication Act 1956 restricts publication of such matters which might corrupt or adulterate a child or a young person's mind. Let's also look at the judicial pronouncements related to obscenity. In S. Khushbu versus Kanyamal and others, where the appellant's opinion on premarital sex was challenged on grounds of morality and decency, the court had to balance her right of free speech with societal moral standards. In conclusion, with the ongoing investigation, the case could set new legal and ethical precedents in India's digital landscape. Moving ahead, the Supreme Court has raised concerns over the practice of distributing unrestrained freebies during elections. stating that such measures push the poor into a state of parasitic life rather than empowering them to seek work, join the mainstream, and contribute to national development. The court emphasized that while welfare policies are essential, excessive handouts can have long-term negative consequences. But what are freebies? Freebies are broadly defined by the Reserve Bank of India or RBI as a public welfare measure such as that is provided free of charge. However, the Election Commission of India or ECI has yet to establish a clear definition for them. Common examples include free electricity, water, public transportation, etc., which are often promised by the political parties to attract voters. Freebies have several positive impacts on society and the economy. They play a crucial role in uplifting weaker sections by enhancing long-term social welfare by supporting disadvantaged groups. During crises like COVID-19 pandemic, freebies provide immediate relief by ensuring quick social welfare benefits to those in need. Additionally, they contribute to boosting consumption, which in turn increases economic activity through sustained consumer spending. Moreover, they enhance workforce efficiency, leading to a productivity boost that strengthens short-term economic activity. But while freebies may provide temporary relief to citizens, they come with several drawbacks. Financially, excessive freebies put a strain on state finances, leading to high fiscal deficits. Punjab, for instance, faced a severe financial crisis due to excessive spending on freebies. Additionally, they divert resources from long-term development projects such as infrastructure and job creation, and money is spent on short-term gains, thereby slowing overall economic growth. Environmental concerns have also been flagged, with the Controller and Auditor General or CAG report linking free electricity schemes to groundwater depletion in Punjab. Moreover, loan waivers and free power weaken key institutions like banks and discoms, a concern highlighted by economist N.K. Singh. To address these challenges, experts suggest adopting a balanced approach that distinguishes between essential welfare programs, such as healthcare, education, and food security, and non-merit freebies that strain public finances. Institutional and legislative reforms like encouraging parliamentary debate on defining and regulating freebies could help bring greater accountability. Additionally, when it comes to political and electoral accountability, the Election Commission could play a more active role in ensuring transparency in electoral manifestos. As the debate over freebies continues, the Supreme Court's observations may prompt policymakers to rethink welfare strategies and strike a balance between short-term relief and sustainable development. The Supreme Court has sought responses from the Centre and the Election Commission of India or ECI on lifetime bar for convicted MPs or MLAs. The PIL challenges constitutional validity of Sections 8 and 9 of Representation of People Act 1951 to prevent criminals from re-entering politics. Representation of People Act bars disqualifies person convicted of a criminal offence and sentenced to imprisonment for not less than 2 years and 6 years after release. However, the PIL contends that this provision is insufficient and calls for stricter measures to prevent criminal elements from influencing governance. Criminalization of politics has been a growing concern in India. But what does it mean? Criminalization of politics refers to the increasing involvement of individuals with criminal backgrounds in the political system. Reports by the Association for Democratic Reforms or ADR highlight that 251, that is 46% of the 543 elected MPs in 2024 have criminal cases against them, with 171 or 31% of them facing serious charges such as rape, murder and kidnapping. Additionally, the chances of winning for a candidate with a criminal background were 15.4% as against just 4.4% for a candidate with a clean background. The impacts of this trend are far-reaching. Black money is used in elections and also indirectly promotes crony capitalism, while the increasing reliance on financial and muscle power impacts the cause of social welfare, promotes culture of violence and social disharmony. Politically, it encourages vote bribery, promotes the culture of freebies or reverie culture, and undermines principles of free and fair elections and good governance. Over the years, the Supreme Court has played a crucial role in addressing this issue. The 2002 Association for Democratic Reforms, or ADR case, mandated that candidates must disclose their criminal records before elections. In the 2013 Lily Thomas case, the court ruled that sitting legislators would be disqualified immediately upon conviction. The 2019 Public Interest Foundation versus Union of India case further required political parties to publicly publish the criminal records of their candidates on their websites, social media, and local newspapers. With the Supreme Court now reviewing the demand for a lifetime ban, the upcoming hearings could have a significant impact on electoral reforms in India. The responses from the centre and the ECI will be crucial in determining whether stricter measures will be implemented to curb criminalization in politics. India and France continue to deepen their strategic partnership as the Prime Minister embarks on his sixth official visit to France. The visit witnessed key agreements across nuclear energy, defense, technology, and trade, further solidifying the relationship between the two nations. Let's take a look at the agreements in detail. India and France signed crucial agreements in the field of nuclear energy, focusing on the development of small modular reactors or SMRs and advanced modular reactors or AMRs. SMRs are compact nuclear reactors that are designed to be built in factories and shipped to sites. AMRs are a next-gen nuclear reactor design that improve efficiency, safety, and sustainability. Another significant development was the launch of the India-France Indo-Pacific Triangular Development Cooperation, which aims to support climate and sustainable development goal or SDG-focused projects from third countries in the Indo-Pacific region. Additionally, the visit marked the inauguration of India's Consulate General in Marseille, strengthening diplomatic ties. Moving on to the key highlights of India's visit to France. In the realm of multilateral cooperation, France reaffirmed its support for India's permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council or UNSC. On the defense front, both countries advanced their collaboration in Scorpion submarine construction and indigenization, while also launching FriendX, a defense startup platform. Notably, France included India as an observer in the Eurodrone Mail program, further strengthening military cooperation. In addition, joint military exercises such as Varuna and La Perouse continue to enhance strategic defense engagement. In the field of technology, both nations appreciated the progress of the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor or ITER, where India is one of the 7 ITER members, contributing to assembling the world's largest tokamak to generate 500 megawatt fusion power. Moreover, both countries announced the India-France Year of Innovation 2026 to promote scientific and technological collaboration. On the trade front, bilateral trade reached a record high of over $15 billion in 2024, marking a milestone in economic relations. With strengthened ties across multiple sectors, this visit marks yet another step forward in the India-France strategic partnership. Moving ahead, India is taking major strides toward a cleaner energy future. The International Energy Agency or IEA has released its latest report, India Gas Market Report Outlook to 2030, highlighting the country's ambitious goal of increasing the share of natural gas in its energy mix from 6% today to 15% by 2030. But what does this mean for India's energy sector? Let's take a closer look at the key findings. According to the report, India's gas consumption is expected to grow by 60% by 2030, with the city gas distribution or CGD sector leading this growth. The CGD sector plays a crucial role in supplying natural gas to households and industries through an expanding pipeline network. On the production front, India's natural gas output reached 35 billion cubic meters or BCM in 2023, with the Krishna-Godavari deep water fields alone contributing 1/4 of the total production. Despite this, India remains the 4th largest LNG importer in the world, and its imports are projected to more than double by 2030. However, one area with enormous untapped potential is compressed biogas or CBG. which currently operates at less than 1% of its estimated capacity. Despite the optimistic projections, several challenges remain. Gas pricing regulations are a major concern. Prices from legacy fields are capped at around USD 10 per million British thermal units or MMBTU, inhibiting full discovery of gas price. Additionally, price restrictions on high-cost deep water projects further hinder investment in gas exploration. Another challenge is market dominance. State-owned GAIL or Gas Authority of India Limited controls both gas marketing and pipeline transmission, leading to potential conflicts of interest. Furthermore, India lacks underground gas storage or UGS facilities, and its LNG storage capacity is limited, making supply chains vulnerable to disruptions. To address these issues, the IEA report suggests a series of policy reforms. It recommends liberalizing gas pricing, gradually extend pricing freedom to all fields, as suggested by the Kirit Parikh Committee 2022, lift price ceilings on deep water and ultra-deep water projects. Additionally, the report calls for the establishment of independent gas transmission system operators or TSOs to ensure fair and non-discriminatory access to gas pipelines. Taxation on competing fuels such as coal should be harmonized to create a level playing field, while the Indian Gas Exchange or IGX should be strengthened for efficient price discovery. Lastly, efficient infrastructure development with transparent third-party access. For example, building strategic gas reserves. With India's growing energy demand, these reforms could play a crucial role in boosting domestic gas production, reducing import dependency, and accelerating the transition toward a cleaner energy future. India's palm oil imports have hit a 14-year low, marking a significant shift in the edible oil market. For the first time in over a decade, palm oil's share in India's total edible oil imports has fallen below 30%. So, what's behind this decline? The primary reason is the increased availability of cost-effective alternatives like soy oil, which has reduced dependence on palm oil. But before we dive deeper, let's first understand what palm oil is. Palm oil is derived from the fruit of the African oil palm tree, scientifically known as Ileus guineensis. There are two types of palm oil: crude palm oil, which is extracted from the fruit pulp and mainly used for cooking, and palm kernel oil, which comes from the seed and is primarily used for non-edible purposes such as cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. Both oils are colorless, odorless, and relatively tasteless. Interestingly, while all palm trees are native to Africa, today Indonesia and Malaysia dominate the global market, accounting for over 85% of the total supply. Now, coming to India's palm oil production. Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Kerala are the leading oil palm growing states, together contributing 98% of the country's total production. Despite this, India remains the world's largest importer of palm oil. To address this dependency, the government launched the National Mission on Edible Oils, Oil Palm, or NMEOOP, in 2021. The mission aims to promote domestic oil palm cultivation and reduce the burden of edible oil imports. With shifting market dynamics and government initiatives, the palm oil sector in India is undergoing a transformation. It remains to be seen how these trends will impact the country's self-sufficiency in edible oil production in the coming years. In today's personality news, we turn our attention to Maharishi Dayanand Saraswati, who was remembered on his birth anniversary. He was a prominent reformer born in Kathiawar, Gujarat. Let's look at his key contributions. He played a crucial role in religious and social reforms, establishing the Arya Samaj in Bombay in 1875 and strongly opposing idol worship and ritualism. His social reforms included opposing the caste system and denouncing untouchability as inhuman. He was also a champion of women's empowerment, promoting education for women and fighting against infanticide, child marriage, and enforced widowhood. As a literary figure, he authored works such as Satyarth Prakash, Ved Bhashya Bhumika, and Sanskar Vidhi. His philosophy was rooted in values of nationalism, universal brotherhood, and humanism, making him a significant figure in India's reformist movements. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. BrahMos NG missile's maiden flight test set for 2026. Production to begin by 2027-28. BrahMos NG Next Generation is an advanced supersonic cruise missile developed by India-Russia joint venture. It is a lighter, smaller, and more versatile and lethal version of the existing BrahMos missile. SpaceX Starlink's satellite internet is available in Bhutan. Starlink is a constellation of thousands of satellites that orbit the planet much closer to Earth at about 550 kilometers and cover the entire globe. Because Starlink satellites are in a low orbit, latency is significantly lower. Scientists at Physical Research Laboratory or PRL discovered a new dense exoplanet using Paras-2 spectrograph at Mount Abu telescope. The exoplanet lies in the sub-Saturn category, size in transition region between Neptune-like and gas giant exoplanets. A survey conducted by the Fisheries Survey of India discovered new fishing grounds in the Arabian Sea. FSI is a nodal fishery institute in India under Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying that functions to survey and assessment of marine fishery resources in the Indian Exclusive Economic Zone and adjoining areas for sustainable exploitation and management. India is ranked the 6th most affected country during 1993 to 2022 in the CRI 2025. During 1993 to 2022, India saw more than 400 extreme weather events, causing losses of $180 million and at least 80,000 fatalities. CRI is a backward-looking index ranking the human and economic toll of extreme weather, with the most affected country ranked highest. Recently, the Public Accounts Committee or PAC urged the government to review the toll tax rule for national highways. It was first set up in 1921 in the wake of Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. PAC is constituted every year under Rule 308 of Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Lok Sabha. Mission Amrit Sarovar has rejuvenated or built over 68,000 ponds, significantly addressing water scarcity. Mission was launched in 2022 as part of India's Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav with the aim of developing or rejuvenating 75 Amrit Sarovar or pond in each district of the country. The state government's move to build a village for tribals in the buffer zone of Brahmagiri Wildlife Sanctuary has raised objections. The sanctuary derives its name from Brahmagiri Peak. A buffer zone is a designated area around a wildlife sanctuary that helps protect the sanctuary's biodiversity and ecosystem. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.